I've been playing iRacing for many years, and a question that I constantly get from new sim racers is iRacing worth it? Should I download it? And is now a good time to get started on it? And well, there are lots of ways to decimate your bank account playing iRacing, but there are also a lot of ways to get into it for actually not that much money. Let's have a look and see if iRacing is worth the money in 2023 and how to get the most value for your money. So we're going to be quickly going over iRacing, how their cars work, how they design their tracks, the single player, the multiplayer, and then we'll get stuck into the cost. How much do you need to play iRacing? And we'll go through some tips and tricks to get the most from your money and maybe save a little bit of money at the same time. If you like the video, as always, feel free to let us know in the comments and give us a like. If you don't like it, you can let us know as well. Let's get into it. So if you've never played iRacing before, just a heads up, iRacing has been around since 2008. It is originally from the development team called Papyrus Racing. They actually developed a game called NASCAR Racing 2003. The iRacing team took their engine from NASCAR Racing 2003, worked on it for many years, and eventually released iRacing in 2008. Now today, nearly every part of that engine is entirely new code. Pretty much everything is new, but it is kind of fun to see where iRacing originally came from. In 2008, iRacing was considered quite a lot different to pretty much every other racing game or sim on the market. On release, there was a large focus on it being used primarily as a driver training tool. They had a lot of options for casual racers, but the selling point of the sim was for drivers to use it to prepare for real-life racing. On release, the game forced you to use your real name, and it forced you to use a steering wheel, which might not sound too crazy now, but in 2009, 2008, that was pretty nuts. iRacing was also pretty much the first sim on the market to use 100% real data for all their tracks and cars. Every track on iRacing is entirely laser scanned using LiDAR, so it shows up every bump, crevice, curb, and everything on the track. What this means is that you always get insanely high quality content no matter what you're driving. There's no bad scans in iRacing. Everything is faithfully accurate and done in-house. With iRacing being around for 15 years now, there is a lot of content available, and while in games like ACC you get an accurate simulation of SRO GT racing, and in F1 you get a kind of a Formula One championship simulation. In iRacing, you get many different types of championships. In iRacing, you can race open wheelers, GT cars, dirt oval, stock cars on oval, rallycross, trophy truck racing, and more. Really, the only two things missing from iRacing are drag racing and full-on rally stages.
Medium left! Listen to my calls!
When you list all of the partnerships that iRacing has, it gets kind of ridiculous. AMG Petronas F1 team, McLaren, Audi, Aston Martin, Dallara, BMW, Porsche, Mazda, Toyota, and way more. Saying that, with those partnerships, the one thing that iRacing is generally missing is road cars. iRacing focuses on the race car side of things, so if you're into driving road cars on the track, I'd probably go to something like Assetto Corsa or Gran Turismo 7. In 2023, iRacing has single player for, I'll be honest, probably most of the cars and tracks in the game, and the single player is really quite good, but the meat and potatoes of the game is in the multiplayer. iRacing has consistent racing on their own servers 24/7, which means you always have someone to race against, no matter what time zone you're in or when you're awake. The racing has a safety rating attached, and players can get protested and banned for their actions in race. So this means that the racing is generally always fair and normally very clean. So, what do you need to get started on iRacing? Well, for starters, you need a relatively okay PC and screen and a steering wheel with pedals. You can get started on iRacing with a gamepad, but I strongly don't recommend it. Once you've got all of that, you'll need to sign up for iRacing. iRacing works on a subscription model, along with paying for each piece of content. The subscription itself is around $12 per month, and it gives you access to the entire game as well as all of the free content. If you want to buy any other cars or tracks, you can buy them for between 10 to 15 US dollars each. When you first sign up for iRacing, you start as a rookie driver, which means you're restricted to racing only a handful of classes in the game. The good thing is, as a rookie, all of the content you need to race the rookie seasons on iRacing is free and comes with the subscription fee that you've already paid. On the oval side of things, you get the road and dirt street stocks and legends cars, along with a UMP modified car. And you get around 11 free oval tracks with a bunch of dirt and asphalt versions. What this means is that you can race the entire asphalt street stocks or dirt street stock series without having to buy any DLC. You already own all the tracks and the cars that will be racing in that series. On the road side of things, you get a bunch of free cars, including the Mazda MX-5, the Formula V, and the Toyota GR86. You also get Charlotte, Lime Rock, Okayama, Oran Park, Alton Park, Rudskagen, Summit Point, Tsukuba, VIR, and Laguna Seca, and more. So a bunch of tracks for you to get started on. What this means is that you get to race the entire MX-5 Cup or Formula V series in rookies for free. You get all of the content for that, so you can just go straight into it. A lot of drivers do want to get out of rookies and get straight into GT cars as quickly as possible. You don't need to do that. You can race these cars forever if you'd like. Here's a driver who's been racing iRacing for 12 years and he has 6,500 iRacing, and he has pretty much only ever driven the MX-5. He's my hero, honestly, but you can do it. If you love the rookie content, you can play iRacing for ages and become one of the fastest drivers on the platform. So if you're looking to get started on iRacing and you want to do it as cheap as possible, I recommend looking for a promo code for the subscription. If you have a Google for it, I'm sure you can find some deals where you get like 3 months for the price of one. And I know at the moment that iRacing has a 40% off deal, so you can use that as well. So if you're racing the MX-5, what I recommend doing is finishing the whole series first and getting yourself a D license. Once you do get a D license, the world kind of opens up a little bit more, but you need to start paying for some tracks. There are some tracks that are in the game that are not free in the D license series. Each season on iRacing has 12 weeks and has 12 different tracks for each week. A really good resource to use here if you want to save money is iRacing Buyer's Guide. This website, you can see how often a track is raced and how often cars are raced as well. And you can make some really smart decisions here. For example, this shows it's a great idea to buy Road America or Spa, as they're used in a bunch of different series this season, so you can get as much racing as possible out of the track that you bought. Once you get to Class C, probably the easiest way to do it is if you bought a GT4 car in Class D, you can use that same GT4 car in Class C. Otherwise, you can jump into the Porsche Cup car or the Formula 3 car or the V8 supercar. After Class C, this is when you get to Class B. This is when you can buy a GT3 car if you'd like and send it on all the iRacing Twitch streamers in the GT3 Challenge series and make them all rage.
Piece of honestly. Piece of drivers.
So if we put that all together and we imagine going from rookie to GT3 on iRacing, let's add up the numbers and see how it works. So you have $12 for the subscription, and this will get you all the rookie content before spending $60 to buy a bunch of tracks for the Toyota 86 series. After that, you spend another $15 for the GT4 car and maybe $100 or so for the tracks for that series. And after that, we spend $15 on a GT3 car and maybe another $60 on tracks for that series as well. So if we do the maths, you do get a 20% or 30% discount if you buy a bunch of content at the same time. But it'll work out to be around $200 to get to GT3 on iRacing. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I'm really rethinking my life right now, actually. So it turns out iRacing is really expensive. Going back to the question, is iRacing worth it? I don't know. Maybe it's not. If you love multiplayer racing and you want to send it on people, it probably is worth it. But if you don't love multiplayer that much, maybe it's not. What I will say though is that iRacing is by far the cheapest to get started and see if you like it. $12 is like nothing compared to the other sims where you have to buy them outright. So you can easily get stuck into rookies for $12, see if you like the game, and yeah, if you enjoy it, you can keep going, and that's when you get hooked and your bank account gets emptied. Are you going to get into iRacing in 2023? Let us know in the comments. If you find any discount codes, feel free to let us know as well so we can all save some money together. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and subscribe to Overtake for more sim racing videos. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.